Are there any like red flags that you would say are like an immediate like, okay, maybe get a second opinion, or even do another interview with somebody? It's almost like hiring somebody for a job, right? You want to make sure you're joining the right team.
Yeah, and I think with respect to figuring out the right fit, I think it really comes down to, when you've been in this industry for 14, 15 years, a lot of the people I work with, I've been working with them from the very beginning. And I always say to people in our introductory meetings, we're not going to be the right fit for everybody, and that's okay. What we want to find is people who we align well with in terms of what we deliver, how we want to work with you, and if it's a good fit, then we can go from there. And it starts, I think, the relationship on the right foot. Having someone who's working with you, who maybe wasn't totally convinced it's the right fit, it's never really going to work out well for everybody, probably in that case. So I think it's just best sometimes to make sure that the person you're working with, you're comfortable with. And I think it's also important to make sure that not just you, but also your spouse, if you have one, is on the same page. I think you need to have alignment of feeling comfortable with who you're working with.
And then on the side of transparency, I know you mentioned that as being one of those like really critical elements to the relationship. What should you be looking for in terms of transparency coming from the financial professional?
Well, I think disclosure of fees, conflicts of interest. So if there is a conflict of interest, so for example, the investment fees are very plainly disclosed, sorry. But what you will have is, if there's life insurance does come with commissions, and those commissions can be very, significant. Doesn't mean it's not necessarily a good product or good solution that helps you achieve your goals, but being aware of that so that you're informed of where those potential conflicts of interest arise. So.
Okay, so just like making sure you have those conversations up front.
Ask the questions. Is there any hidden fees? Is there any commissions? I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking that question.
Yeah, it might be a little uncomfortable, but make sure
you might
do
be,
it.
But if the person is not trying to hide it in the first place and they disclose it, they shouldn't be a complicated conversation.
Risk management. Yeah, I've been sort of told the mantra of you're a young person early in your career,
Invincible.
More risk equals more money later. Yeah, what's your approach to that?
So risk management, I think early on when you think about as a physician, especially right out of school, your biggest asset is your ability to earn money. It's not your home, your car, it's you. So protecting your earning potential through things like disability insurance, building that foundation. When it comes to the investment side, it's about diversifying. So, it's common, I guess, to want to, have those water cooler conversations, so to speak, and chase home runs. But I think where you find a lot of wealth is created over the long term. If you have good earnings ability, it's more about doing the right things consistently, which is saving, being disciplined with how you deploy capital, as in, are we trying to hit home runs, or are we just trying to hit singles and doubles, and are we happy with, earning a reasonable rate of return but protecting the wealth that we have created?
And in today's market, what is an actual reasonable rate of return 2024?
Well, so, when I look at planning, I use the assumptions that are, provided by FP Canada, which is the body that kind of oversees and educates all the planners in the country. And it's usually around 5 to 5.5% for a balanced portfolio. Now, if you're younger and you have plenty of runway before you're retiring, you can tilt that upwards and be more growth oriented. But I think, what you really should be asking is how much risk am I taking to earn that return? How much volatility? And that's where we like to see, lower volatility as much as possible to protect the capital you've earned, so that we don't have to chase as much, or we don't have to, I guess, catch up as much when the markets do go down.
That's less fun, though.
It is less fun. So for some people, like for the clients that I work with, if you have that interest and you really want to chase those, stocks that you have, you heard from a buddy, that's where your self-directed account is for. What we work with is the money that you want to protect, and it's key to your retirement.
And so I liked what you said about, your number one asset is yourself and protecting your ability to keep your income coming in. And so a huge part of that, I think, is the insurance. What are those critical pieces that you got to make sure you have covered at, like, up front, day one, when you graduate and you start practicing?
I think at a very minimum, as a young physician, get disability insurance. You have access to insurance through your association. It is renewable, so it gets more expensive in 5-year increments. I think if you have thought about it, I think if you can put in place some level premium for yourself, you're going to save a bit of money over the long term.
What's a level premium, sorry?
Basically, you design the policy for what you need in terms of you want base coverage. You might want to have a future purchase option to add additional coverage for disability. You might want own occupation so that you're protected as a physician, not as any occupation. Or you'll want cost of living. So if you have a long-term disability, inflation, as we have all experienced over the last number of years, can erode purchasing power. So if we have cost of living protection in there as well, it's great. When you buy your own standalone policies, you can get what's called a return of premium feature. And what nice thing about that is every 7 to 8 years, you'll get 50% of those premiums you paid. You're going to pay more in the short term. Just look at it as extra savings that's going towards maybe that year's refund can go towards your TFSA account or something like that, right? They just roll it back in.
And so when you're looking at disability, this is one of the things that I really had a challenge with was
I'm Dr. Jordan Valrath, and you've been watching Cherry Live, brought to you by Cherry Health. Please like and subscribe to see more clips like this, or check us out at www.cherry.health, Canada's medical network.